Every 10 households in the country, 6 are financially struggling. As a result, 60% of these particular households can barely afford basic commodities. How are you doing? Good morning. Hope you're okay. Many thanks for sticking around to Smart Means Business, a show that is dedicated to giving you business information right from 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. on a daily Monday to Friday. Hope you're all okay at this particular morning, and this particular business update is regarding the fact that 60% of Ugandans earn 200,000 Ugandan shillings per month. Now, and did you also know that half of about 20 million people engaged in gainful employment get a monthly payment of 200,000 or less? So when you factor in the rising cost of living emanating from the escalating inflation, as well as the survival picture gets grimmer and dimmer. So as this particular survey was contained in the findings of the National Labour Force Survey 2021, which were as well shared by Uganda Bureau of Statistics during the dissemination workshop that was held in Kampala recently, that if you to look at the percentage of the working Ugandans, 60% of those earn close to 200,000 Ugandan shillings. So these disturbing findings were contained in that National Labour Force Survey, and the National Labour Force Survey was shared by the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, UBOS, for more of those particular updates. Now, also on the other hand, if you're to follow up, about 50% of Ugandans in paid employment will earn close to 200,000 Ugandan shillings or less. That is properly reflected in these particular findings. Now, the Uganda Bureau of Statistics principal statistician Michael Ogen did say in an interview after presenting the Labour Force report. Now, this simply means that in a span of 30 days, you get paid an average of 500 shillings per day for 8 to 14 hours of the shift you put in the work. So if you're to look at that from the perspective of Ugandans working, and especially those who are working tirelessly in a day-to-day income of Uganda, that is, if you're to put that in US dollars, that would be close to roughly around $50 per person, and clearly you would see that people may be earning close to $55 a month, close to $50 to $55 per month, if you're to put it in the current dollar rate exchange in the country. So that is something that is a bit worrying for most of the Ugandan people here who are working tirelessly in and out. The report further revealed that 49% of the working age population were outside the labor force, but worrying perhaps is that about 45% discouraged and therefore didn't go for hunting for a job because of the same particular money that is being ushered out or given out at the end of the day. It should be noted, however, that there is a slight increase in wages once the payment is contributed to both in kind and in cash. So according to this particular finding, the average monthly earnings once the two are combined goes to around 250,000. Even then, still remain miserably low. And surprisingly, though, many employees, despite the shocking low levels of wages, seem satisfied with their work, according to the survey. So where is the bigger issue here with the fact that most of the people are having challenges dealing with the same situation? Then how are people going to solve this particular issue of low payment? Of course, the government was actually working on the issue to do with a minimum wage bill, which would at least give room for employers to pay accordingly, so that before an employee goes to work, there is a minimum salary cap that is in place before they cross over to the other details. But besides that, that is it for the business update this morning. Let's get into the press review to have more of what is happening from the world of print media this morning. With the new vision now is that MPs have okayed minister's censure process as Minister Persis Namuganza refuses to apologize to Parliament over misconduct. Parliament wants to censor the minister, and there are more of the details here in the New Vision. Then also there's a big interview here with President Museveni, who is speaking out on Uganda's current state of the economy. That and more is also still in here. Then there is also a report regarding the First Lady, who has met with the new MTN CEO since she came into office, replacing Wim Vanel Putte earlier on this year. Then Prime Minister Robin Anabany and Chief Justice have reconciled. That is another report coming in from the New Vision this morning. Then from the Daily Monitor, court strikes out acting judge jobs. That is, despite the Constitutional Court ruling, the justices clarify that the judgments and the decisions that the 16 affected judges have so far passed while in office will not be remanded, will not be redundant, will only be redundant, null and void. Now also, it's a ceasefire for Justice Winnie Dolo and Premier Nabanja as they two reconcile. Then also the Daily Monitor showing Passes Namuganza, the minister, who is facing censure before Parliament, and also fighting to host Uma's Orlando takes new twist. That is the Uganda Medical Association President, Dr. Samuel Odong Oledo, who said he will not be stepping down as leader of the association. Then also here is the opposition is demanding naming and prosecution of thieving officials that the IGG office did reveal in regards to the fight against corruption in the country. Now, lastly here with the Daily Monitor, the United States links visa denials to fraud. That is one of the reasons as to why most of the Ugandans who want to travel out are denied visas. That is with the Daily Monitor. And away from the press review this morning, let's get more from the traffic updates as well. We cross to Ginger Road now to see how the flow of traffic is moving. And of course, as you can see, for close to 2 weeks now, the traffic lights at Ginger Road have been faulty, and in most cases traffic has been manned by traffic officers, even though back then it was manned by traffic officers. But as of now, you can clearly see that for now they are working. As of yesterday night, they had some issues to do with faultiness, but according to the images that you're now seeing, you can see that they are easily working amicably well. And then also on the other hand is that traffic flow on Ginger Road has always been maintained by two things: the traffic officers and the traffic lights themselves, because ideally sometimes, because it is a rush hour, most people rarely take their time to, at least people do mind less about these traffic lights in case there are no traffic officers to control the flow of traffic in there in the morning. Now, as you can see on the routes that are actually heading to Kampala, a bit busy is the lane that is heading to Kampala via Kampala Road, via Victoria University, as you can see, and then also the one that is actually heading to Nile Avenue, that is coming in from heading to Yusuf Lule, from the people who are coming in from Zambia, Namuongo, coming in from these ends of Chibuli, heading to either Kampala and other areas. Then the other traffic incidents, as you can definitely see, now those particular vehicles that have so far been late now are the ones that are actually heading to Yusuf Lule Road, heading to Nile Avenue side, heading to Garden City, heading to Kingdom Kampala sides, and then the others are actually heading straight to Kampala to either the taxi parks or other arcades in town. The flow of traffic at Ginger Road has always been one that you should not worry about, especially during morning time, because there's a huge deployment of traffic officers. Reason being that lots of different routes are definitely joining at that same point. For people who actually are leaving Yusuf Lule, heading to the ends of Chibuli and all that, converge from there. Those who are actually leaving areas of Ntinda, there are those leaving areas of Boyogerere, leaving Chambogo areas, Nakawa areas, all connive from there. Then people who are actually leaving sides of Bugolobi, those who are actually leaving areas of those who are actually leaving from the sides of Bugolobi. You look at people who are leaving the ends of Luzira and what have you. All those use that same route to continue working from there. And for the border cyclists across the area, for now, you can clearly see that most of them are maintaining the idea that they have to have reflector jackets on and a helmet with them, and it's actually good to say that most of them are already following the right guidelines of the traffic flow, not just entering into the road minus making sure that they know that there is no car that is in between that particular lane. But also, besides that, as you can see, for now, it is an easy, swift movement of vehicles at Ginger Road, and one would clearly say, why is there less traffic lately? Well, if you're to look through, it is the festive season, and since it is the festive season, most organizations from the non-government and of course also the other people who are actually working from the government organizations, most of them are already going in for leave, and so there is less rush for work lately. So it is not something that you will experience in traffic jam. So traffic now picks up at around 8:30 to 10 a.m. During those 2 hours from 8 to 10 is busy traffic. Sometimes it's from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. If you're to go through most parts of Kampala is when traffic hits up. Well, as you can see now, some of those images are clearly showing you that there's easy movement of vehicles, swift movement of vehicles. There is less congestion, especially from vehicles coming in from Bugolobi, Luzira, and those coming in from the ends of Mukono, Boyogere, and all that. So which quickly shows you that there is less traffic congestion at the moment. And like I was telling you, till around 9 a.m. is when you will be experiencing such kind of congestion, because that is when most of the people now hit the road. Definitely, since it's the festive season, like I did mention, some companies, some organizations are already giving out work leaves for most of their employees to prepare for the festive season. A 3 to 4 work leave is what some of the organizations do give, especially during the festive season. And once that happens, most people definitely spend most of their times at home, especially in the morning hours. That is when they wake up in the morning to hit the road and at least go and hustle out in other different hustles to make sure that they get a daily income in that regard. Well, the only other issue that I can ideally show you from the Ginger Road is the fact that with the issue to do with border cyclists and the fact that some of the traffic lights there are faulty, it is an issue that creates room for a lot of these organizations in case there is no traffic officer on the road. Now you can see the only challenge that we face normally during traffic is with border riders and cyclists who do not wait for the traffic lights or the orders of the traffic officers. They will just swiftly move in and out. So it is the order of the day for most of the border cyclists within Kampala. And of course, for you who is still at home and you use this particular route, well, you can see the traffic flow is at least moving on swiftly. It's not something to worry about for the moment. The congestion is still a bit low, not too busy of that, so it's not a case to worry about. And before you leave home, you can definitely decide which route you'll be using. So if you are coming in from Chibudi, those who are coming in from the ends of Zambia, you can either decide to use a route heading direct to Kampala, or you can use one of Ginger Road as of now. But the traffic is currently standing at that level, or as you can see this particular footage coming to you live here on Smart 24 TV. That is Ginger Road, Kampala. And of course, with that, we do head into a break. I will return with Karibu East Africa to give you the latest stories making headlines from the world of business across the East African Community region. Not only that, meanwhile, I'll be giving you more updates as they are coming in from the world of the international scene, still from the world of the business scope. Good morning.